Good morning. Yes, I am late. I admit it. I take full responsibility for the lateness this morning. It's all about me and my lateness. You just need some caffeine sometime. So welcome here this morning. It's a beautiful morning. When I first got up this morning, I didn't think that we were going to have that kind of a day because it was gray and dingy and it felt like it had poured all night, and I was a little bit concerned about that. But the sun has come out and it's going to be a beautiful day.
That's beautiful.
And it's a good start for our morning this morning to have some sunshine for our what are you going to call it? We're going to call it, this is our Willow episode. Willow and Roxanne's craziness in her house. That's what this one is going to be about. Taylor, so make note of that. So if you're going to do anything with this video, this is what you're going here's what you're going to call it. You're going to call it Roxanne's Craziness and Willow. So I am excited this morning because Laurie Moen is back with me this morning, and we're going to have a nice visit here on camera, and we're also going to show you all the cool things that you can do with some of the pieces that Laurie has. Some are new, some of them she's had for a little bit, but a way that you can incorporate them into your home. Depending on what your style is, we'll just do some adjustments and we'll see what we can work out, and you might be inspired to do something amazing at your house and include Laurie's Willow. So usually in the morning, if you've been watching in the past, I talk about pottery because I usually have my coffee or my tea. So this morning, this cup is another one that I picked up at the Fiberfest. I just realized my shirt's all dirty. In Lacombe, when I went there a couple years ago with my friend Gwen, and I saw this one here with the kind of a pale green bottom, and it feels and looks kind of like a sweater.
Yeah, it's textured.
It's got some nice texture on it, but it has got the most epic handle on it. So on the mornings when my hands aren't working that great, this is the cup for me. This one works the absolute best. So here we are this morning on my deck with the birds singing, the sun is shining. You won't be able to see it because the sun is rising on the east side of the house, and this is more the west and a little bit south. So you'll just have to trust me that there's sun shining out there. It probably goes with the birds singing, though. They usually don't sing too much in the rain. I mean, sometimes they do, but usually the sunshine makes them sing. So, pottery. This is my pottery for the day, and I don't know if I could tell you who made it because I never. There's a little tiny heart on it. Whoever marks their pottery with a little heart from southern Alberta. That's where this came from. So good morning to Taylor and to Kim and to Tassie. And whoever else is out there that might be watching this morning. I think you have the ability to turn off me being able to see who's watching. Because I'm pretty sure there's other people that are watching. And they just turn it off so that they can't see. I can't see that they're watching, and then I won't mention their name or tell the story on them. That's probably the worst thing, is telling a story on people. So last week I had, and we're not doing any food today. We have too many other things happening here in our space with no camera person and trying to make the space work. So we're just going to skip the food. We'll leave that till another week. And we'll just have our mug with our tea or our coffee. And maybe you have a muffin at your house or some coffee cake or something. So you can enjoy that. Or maybe you're just sitting there in your pajamas, and that's perfectly lovely too. And we're going to get started with some of our Willow things. Oh, before we get going on that, I wanted to tell you that I did not do my redone item. I'd asked people to guess as to what they thought that I would be redoing. And Mary was the only one that guessed, and she guessed that it was going to do something with a towel, an old towel. And that's our only guess at this point in time. Oh, we're going to be swatting mosquitoes, Laurie. That's the only guess that we've had thus far. So because there's so many Willow things and I want to be able to share them all with you and give you some ideas and that sort of a thing, we're going to skip the redone thing. I'm going to move that to next week. We can talk about that when Laurie's not here. And we're going to focus instead on Laurie Moon's Willow and all the things that she makes and all the ideas and cool things, everything you can do with Willow. So that's going to be our focus this morning, instead of me doing something with redoing an item or two or three, or combining a whole bunch of things into one. We'll do that next week, and we're gonna do Willow today.
Sounds good.
Since we have a lot of things, because if anybody knows me well enough, you'll know that when my creativity kicks in, it usually just kind of goes crazy.
Roxanne has lots of ideas.
So we're going to just let that flow this morning. I've brought a whole bunch of things, and you can't see most of it because it's off camera, because there's way too much to put in front of us. And we're going to make it work, how we can figure out how to bring on an item and then show you different things that you can do with it. And then Laurie will tell you about that and that sort of thing. So before we do that, though, I am going to just ask Laurie to tell us a little bit about herself and how she got started in Willow and how long she's been doing it and that sort of thing. She gave us a little bit of a preamble the last time that she was on here, but we're going to just get her to tell a little bit more of her story. Morning, Jane. So, Laurie, you've been living in Little Smoky how long?
Almost 30 years, probably about 28, 29 years.
Okay, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up in Little Smoky?
No, I'm from Saskatchewan. I grew up I was born in Saskatoon, and I grew up in Dalmeny, just outside of Saskatoon, and that's where I went to school. Well, we were in Saskatoon till about grade 6. That's when I moved out to Dalmeny. Little Mennonite community.
It is. It's definitely a little Mennonite community, and they're good. I just learned something about Laurie. I had no idea. I knew you were from Saskatchewan originally,
okay,
but I had no idea that Dalmeny was your growing up home. Then, wow, cool.
Yeah, there was things going on in Saskatoon that my dad didn't like, so we moved out to a small town.
And do you have any siblings?
I have 4 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And no brothers. And then I had 3 boys.
They may not have survived all the girls in the ways that go on.
That's right, yeah. So 5 girls.
5 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And are you the oldest, youngest, in the middle?
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Right in the middle of
3rd
all
one.
the girls.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said you had boys. You had 3 boys.
I have 3 boys, yeah. And what do you want to know about them?
And they're all finished school?
Yeah.
High school?
They're all grown. My youngest graduated last year. Yeah. And they're off doing their own thing. Some have jobs, some with the pandemic, some can't find jobs, but I've got one in university. He's almost through. He's got 1.5 more years, I think.
Wow, time is flying.
Yeah, it does. And I started making Willow when I was pregnant with him, my first boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I was out to here. I was actually supposed to go to a course in Whitecourt. I was enrolled in it, and then I got the information, and it said we'd be working on the floor. And when I was out to here with him, I just thought that's not going to work. So yeah, I got a library book and brought it home and did it on a table. And
wow! So it was your first item.
My first item was a chair. Yeah.
You made a chair. You just jumped right in with the chair.
Well, I got a book that told me how to do it.
That's kind of like, let's buy all the ingredients for bread and go, let's just make bread. So
yeah.
you don't have to do it on the floor.
Well, you might do that. I have a bread maker because I can't make bread.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that's amazing. A chair. Well, here's the thing. I'm laughing about that, but the first thing that I made of Willow
was a chair.
Only I didn't get a library book. I went to your house and I made the chair with you.
Yeah.
Which was Believe me, way easier than doing it from a book. I highly recommend that. Don't just try it from a book. Take a class from Laurie. She'll teach you all the tips and tricks of the trade. It'll make it a lot easier. I can guarantee you that, because I have tried to make a couple of Willow things on my own, just little makeshift things to put in my garden and such. Yeah. Construction is not my forte. I may be able to put a quilt together or a piece of clothing, but yeah.
Well, if you tried long enough, you could probably figure it out. Trial and error.
After 30 years, I probably could do some road. Well, that's awesome. So you did a chair for the first thing, and then you have just developed your skills over the years. You have done some mortise and tenon stuff too.
I have, not a lot, because it's more time consuming, and I think I actually should take a class on that. I just find it takes more time. I can do it, but because you've got all this irregular shaped stuff that you're trying to drill holes into
Make it match.
Yeah, to something, and that it rolls and stuff, and it's hard to get everything straight and whatever, and then are people willing to pay for that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really got into that a lot. I find that I can make this sturdy and without mortise and tenon, but I might one day do that. I actually wanted to go down. There's a course in the States where they teach you that kind of thing, and they have a jig that you need to buy that holds your limb straight so that you can get the actual thing centered and all that too. But
wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot to it, but I haven't invested in that yet.
All right. Well, I think you're probably busy enough just creating all kinds of cool things out of your Willow that you don't have to worry about that. So there you go. Some history on Laurie, and I've known Laurie for almost our whole time that she's been out here. I've been out here I grew up in the area, and then I moved to Fort McMurray, and I have been back here now for just over 24 years. And I met you before that because we used to come out to visit.
Okay, I thought you were here the whole time that we were here. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It may seem like that because we came out to visit lots,
right.
and we were here for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. I would come out in the summertime. I would come out Christmas time, Thanksgiving,
right.
Anytime there was really any major holidays, and I was usually out, and I would see you at church and in community things. So yeah, so we've been not totally here, but partially here.
Great.
All right. Okay. So there we go. Got some history on Laurie, and morning to Addie and to Sharon. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody on there. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can ask them later, and Laurie can go in there and answer anything. If it's in regards to Willow or anything like that, you can do some question stuff there. I'm not sure that my eyes are good enough to see across the space to my camera and read the little words on there if you're asking questions, but I'm happy to answer them afterwards. And I'm also hoping, because we're trying to keep a little bit of distance between us and still have us both in the camera, that you can see both of us. And if not, hopefully you just can't see me and you'll just hear my voice and you'll see what's going on the table, and we'll go with that this morning until I figure out how to have a better camera system set up for this. But this is supposed to be just a fun thing. I'm not doing this for professional reasons. Just for some fun entertainment on Wednesday mornings to encourage us and add a little bit of laughter and color and creativity into your life. So I'm going to take one last sip, and I'm going to move my coffee cup, and then we're going to get started on pulling out some of the things that are scattered around us on the deck. So if we happen to move out of the camera, don't worry, we will be back in a few seconds. We're just trying to capture all the things and do our projects here on the table in front of us. Some pieces that Laurie has. So all the pieces that Laurie has here today, I believe, are for sale.
Yeah. They
are for sale. There we go. I should have verified that in the beginning. I just put you on the spot. So you can ask if you're interested in something. You can go to Laurie's Facebook page, and you can get some information from her there. You can ask questions or send her a private message that way. Taylor, because I know he's a handy dandy guy, can add a link again into the comments if you wouldn't mind, and then you can just head off there and take a look at it. And you have a website.
Right.
Yeah. You can go check out the website, or you can ask questions on here, and we can get back to you afterwards if there's anything that you would like to purchase that you see that would be just fit lovely into your home. So here we go. Putting the coffee mug down, hopefully not breaking it, and starting with, what should we start with, Laurie?
I don't know. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the one that's really far away. I'll just start with this one over here. And try not to. Oh, good thing I ate my granola bar this morning. Okay, so you're going to see it's kind of in between. Look at that, it fits right between us. So this is a
vase.
Vase.
Cool.
It's got a nice shape to it. It's made completely out of willow. And the easiest thing obviously would be if you put in dried flowers into this, or silk flowers if you like, which I do have some, not dried. I do have some silks here. So you could tie them if you wanted to, or you can just pop them down inside of this here. And the really great thing about this one is that when you put flowers in here, you can put really long ones, and it lends itself the best to that. Or what you can do is tie the base of them in there, and then if you put raffia or something around it, then you can just let that dangle down into the base of this thing here. But, it looks really cool with cattails. Cattails look really amazing in it because it will take the length of them and they'll dry. Pussy willows look fantastic in here also. And some sunflowers look really beautiful too. Morning, Judy and Audrey and Amy. So you can do a whole bunch of things in here. Or what you can also do, and I didn't bring it with me out here, is I have a bottle vase, and I could set my bottle in there with water, and then right now the lupins, I think, are out and blooming gloriously. So you could put a couple of lupins in a bottle and they'll just stand beautifully, like way tall outside of this vase. So you have a couple of options. You can put drieds, you can put silks in there, you can do things to the bottom. You can also wrap it with tissue paper and drop that down in there. So if you used a colored tissue paper, then that color would pop out through these spaces here in the willow. So you can put that in there, or you can tie it with raffia and have that all hanging down in there. It just creates a little bit more texture and interest to your floral arrangement that you would have there. And yeah, this is a, I would say be more of a single purpose thing, using it as a vase. But you can also set a couple of umbrellas in here, which I didn't bring out because if I did, I would probably smack Laurie in the head with it because that's how coordinated I am. So you could put umbrellas in it. If you have maps, so we have maps here out in rural Alberta, and we want to keep track of things. So I would put 2 or 3 maps and just tuck them in here because it's super sturdy and they would not fall over. You could definitely pop them over.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the other thing that you can put in here is your fireplace tools.
Oh, yeah.
You could put those in here too. And if you wanted to put like a metal plate in the bottom, you could do that, just so that the end of it, if it's warm, will just sit on the metal instead of onto the wood. But yeah, it's super sturdy and it will hold your fireplace tools super, super well. Very, very easily. You can do that. So this is a vase. Do you know offhand how much it is?
$45.
So this is $45. Great price. It's a beautiful piece. Lots of work in it, and you can do multiple things with it. I just yanked out some poppies I had in the living room and made a big mess to pop those in here just to show you kind of what it would look like. But yeah, you can do it with dried or silks or real, whichever one you choose. So I'm going to hand that off to Laurie. She can move that off to the side. There's going to be all kinds of crashing noise and such happening here.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what we should do next. Let's do this one. We're going to go to my side, Laurie.
Okay.
All right, look at this beautiful basket. So Laurie designed this after we had a conversation and talked about a various number of things that you could put into this basket. So this basket looks like it's about 16 inches
Oh, yeah.
inside.
I forget.
It looks to me like it's about 14 inches
Yeah.
in the base. And then you're probably getting out closer to 17, 18
Yeah.
on the outside with the benders. That's what these curved pieces are called. They're called benders. Look at me with my Willow technology or my Willow vocabulary that I have got going here. Good morning, Denise. So we have this lovely basket, and Laurie has made the bottom of it. I can show you. It's all the little pieces are butted up against each other in the bottom, so you wouldn't have, I mean, if you had sugar in there, if it was going to fall through, you're going to have bottles or those sorts of things coming through. So this one, when we talked about it, we said tea,
Actually,
olive
no.
oil.
That one I was just I looked at you had a floral arrangement on your table.
There
And
we
I
go.
thought, okay, that's for, I mean, you could probably put other things. You could try the, I made this one for the tea.
Okay.
This one fits 5 packages of herbal tea.
Okay, so
laying down.
boxes.
Yeah. Or my size.
Okay, look
You
at
might
so tea boxes will fit down in here, and then for this one here it's got a little slit, and you can pull out the boxes. If you set them down in here, then you can get 5 across there. I only have 2 here because
Yeah, and you could set them like that too, I guess, if you want.
Yep.
Well,
and you could set it on its side if you wanted to do that. You could set it on its side. You could leave it flat. You could also put them upright if you wanted to. You could put them in here, and then you can just pick the box up and take it out of there. So I brought my little collection
okay.
of all my teas that I have, and I have way more than this, but for today's thing we'll just keep to this. So this is great for tea. So Laurie designed it so that these boxes like this will sit 5 of them flat down in the bottom of this, so you can use that for tea. You can also, if you didn't want to use this for tea, you could, I'm going to give you all the ideas here. You could make this your little station for putting in your olive oil and such. So I just got a napkin because I don't want to get my olive oil bottle on Laurie's mess
I have
here.
another one too.
And she has another one.
that would
So-
work for that.
So she has one specifically for olive oil, and it fits the Costco square bottles
Right. Yeah.
perfectly. So that's how she's designed that one. Morning, Dream and
Yeah.
Mel. So the cool thing about these boxes, these little baskets that she's created, is that you could do multiple things with it. So if you want one a little bit bigger, because you have multiple things. So on my counter, I mean, I could fit that into the small one, but I have more than
Okay.
1 or 2 bottles of olive oil, and I would also probably put in there my salt and pepper. And because Laurie has made the bottom of it flat, you can set your bottles in there, and they're not wobbling all over it. And the sides are high enough too that if you bumped it, then they're not going to fall out and crash onto things onto your counter. So you can put tea in here. You can put your olive oil stuff in it. You could put your washcloths and nice things for your guests you could put in here. Let's see how many things I can knock over this morning. Oh goodness, and I'm getting a little froggy, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so teas, those sorts of things. Take my handy dandy Christmas napkin out. And if you wanted to have this in your guest bedroom or in your bathroom, there's a couple things you can do with that. So if you were doing it up for guests in your guest bedroom, you could roll up some washcloths. I'm not a very good washcloth roller, you can see. So roll up some washcloths inside of it. You could also put hand towels. I just pulled out all washcloths out of my cupboard. But you can put some of those in there. And you can add in a little bottle of lotion and a candle in there. And the thing that I didn't bring with me, besides my dust, is you could put in a notebook and a pen in there, and you could put a small package of Kleenex inside of this collection too, and you could put that in. Or if you just had it in your bathroom, you could do a very similar thing, where you can keep your washcloths in there, or your hand towels in it, hand lotion, have a candle in there in case you're going to have a nice fancy bath with your candles in your bathroom. Minus kids, for anybody that has kids at home. So the basket holds a multitude of all kinds of things that you can use this for. So that's that. Oh, and you also put in candies. They'll fit in there too. So a little jar of candies for your guests. So something nice things that your guests would enjoy having if they came to your house to visit. So, morning, Auntie Annie and Sabrina. Glad you could join us this morning. So that's for your guest bedroom or your bathroom. I don't know if you need candies in your bathroom, but if you like candies in your bathroom, there you go. You can use it for that. Okay. The other thing that you can use this for is two things. You can put your, if you have little kids and you have books, or if you're grandmother, you could put kids' books in it. So the books that your grandkids love to have you read to them, you could set them in there. I have some older ones that I would put in here, just because I would do it as a decor thing. So I'd put some books in there, and I'd put a candle in there, and then I probably too would have, and I don't have them in silks this morning or drieds, but I have them in real flowers. So I would set those in there also, and I would have this sitting in my living room, which is a combination of, there's a little bit of country. I have some modern things in there. It's really eclectic, and this willow would fit just in there. Mm-hmm. If you had it something that was more rustic, it would fit in there very nicely too. And you can skip the colored flowers, and you could put pussy willows in there, or whatever you like if you had a little vase. So usually the rule is, when you're doing a little vignette of things, a little grouping of things, is 3 things. Or 5 things, or 7. Always go with an odd number. That's the rule of thumb for doing it. Hanging pictures on a wall. I mean, you can hang 1, obviously. But hanging other things, if you're putting other things together, 3, 5, 7. Odd numbers is kind of the rule of thumb for that. So there you go. You can do that with this lovely basket. And move all this stuff out of here.
Do you want me to take that away?
So we can move that one out of there. Actually, you know what, Laurie? Let's bring that back for a second.
Okay.
I wanted to show you something. So normally when we have containers, when we look at them, we kind of think, oh, okay, well, it's for putting stuff inside of. That's what we would do with this. We would put our things that we have, we would put them inside of the container. That's the purpose of a container, to have that. But you could also change the usage of your container into something that's just strictly decorative. So what you can do, this is so beautifully made that this is what you can do with this. So 2 things. This just occurred to me this morning. So
okay.
How's this for off the cuff?
Okay,
just doing stuff. Okay. Oh, goodness. So I have a whole swack of teacups, like a ton of these teacups. So I went over to Audrey's house, and I snitched all of her roses. I can't even say that I borrowed them, because I just plumb just took them right out of there. And yeah, they're not at her house anymore. They're at my house. And I brought them back here to put in the teacups. So you can do this one of two ways. So you can push the teacups underneath of the basket. Now they're protected. So lots of times when we set our table really nice, most of us don't have a 48 inch wide table. Most of us have a 30 to 36, so it's a little bit narrower. And once we put our placemats on our table and then we try to put food on there, what happens is that we have no room for putting any kind of a centerpiece, anything pretty. Now, when I was growing up with Audrey, Mom just thought that was like, whatever, that's not important. Morning, Lisa. She didn't think that that was important. What was important is that we have 25 dishes on the table so that everybody can have variety. And it may sound like I'm exaggerating, but Auntie Annie, you know this. I'm actually not exaggerating, because the table would be just jammed full. In fact, it would all not fit on the table, even though it was huge. We'd have some sitting on a counter on the side or another table, and we'd have to get up and jump back and forth, whatever. So anyways, we never had anything really pretty that we would have like as a centerpiece on the table. And I got thinking about that, how you could do that and still have space on your table for all the other things that you need in there. So you could put the roses, the flowers, in the teacups underneath, because teacups are just the lovely size for doing that. So that's what I did, pop them underneath there. And then on the top of this, I can have a variety of different things. So I could put salt and pepper on top of here. Obviously not the big grinding, house soft grinding ones, but just a small salt and pepper. Shaker could sit on the top of this. I could have some extra napkins could be sitting on the top of this. The pickles could be sitting on top of this. Anything that's a little bit smaller could be sitting on top of this. Or you could put your plate or whatever you have that you put your rolls or buns or biscuits in. You could set that on top of here. That's a good idea. Also, so you've got some beauty underneath. Flip the basket upside down. And then on the top of this, then you can put things that you need on your table. You can also not turn this upside down. You could also set these inside of the basket. Let's see if I can do it without spilling water everywhere. Oh, look at that. I did it.
Yeah, that protects it too.
So this protects it too. So the teacups with the roses in there are protected by the benders that are sitting on this Willow container. So you have a variety of different things that you could do with this beautiful basket, which is
$40.
This one is $40. So there you go. For $40, you can do a multitude of different things. Have it as a centerpiece, or you can have it as a container, or you can flip it upside down and make it multi-purpose. How's that for uses for one basket?
That's amazing. Where did you get all your creativity from when your mom didn't do anything like that?
It's called, we have a problem, let's try to figure out a solution. Oh, gracious. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this one. And this one you designed for...
Well, I just was thinking flowers, a floral arrangement, but...
Okay, so this one for floral arrangement, and I didn't take that many flowers out of Audrey's yard.
That's okay. You can show the other uses. I think, like most people would know, like you could put a piece of foam in there and then, you know, to make your arrangement.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you could do a dried arrangement in here that would be permanent. You could take this, if you don't want to do it yourself, take it to a florist or somebody who does flower stuff, and they could tell you what things they would like you to bind, or maybe you have 2 or 3 things that you would like to have in there, and then they can add some other things to it. So make use of somebody that's got some floral arranging skills. And one person I know that's really fabulous at it is Kate Finster with Kate's Clippings. Check out her Facebook page. She's beautiful, fresh flowers if you're in the Valley View area. She could probably do a stunning arrangement in this basket for sure. You could easily do that. And if you had a longer container, you could put fresh flowers in there too if you wanted to have that for a centerpiece. The other thing that you could do with it is, let's see if I can do this without I'm going to have to get up, I think, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do it otherwise. So I have piles of stuff in my house. If you've been to my house, you know this. But you could take this. Let's see if I can do this impromptu. I'm not the best arranger. On the spur of the moment, usually you have to play with it. But you could easily put in these fall leaves. Could easily go in here. And then I do have some pillar candles, but for all intents and purposes, I could just set this one inside of here, and I could fill that with, I could fill this with sunflowers or any autumn type flowers could fit very easily in here. So then it would be an autumn centerpiece. And then if I took these out and I wanted to switch it up to Christmas, then I would put pine cones in here, and then I would put fresh spruce boughs. I would put those all in here. And you can, I mean, you could put a small container in here flat, and you could put the spruce boughs in there, and then they wouldn't dry out. So you could keep them fresher, longer. Yeah. You could definitely do that. Put that in there. And then, so that's kind of your greenery, and then you can add a bow to it if you really wanted to. I think probably what I would do, just because I think it would be kind of cool, is I would take a container of some sort, and then I would fill the bottom of it because I need to bring it up a little bit, but I would tie a bundle of cinnamon sticks together. That's a really good idea. And then I would stand that up in the center. So I've got spruce boughs now, and I've got cinnamon sticks in here. Smells. And then there would be lots of good smells that would be coming in out of that space that's in there. So you can also put water in the bottom of the container with the cinnamon sticks, and you can put orange peels and lemon peels in there. And if you've cooked them ahead of time with sugar and those sorts of things, then it'll stay longer because it almost gets to like a candy type. So you're not going to just have molding, rotting fruit that's going to be in there with the cinnamon sticks. And then you could put cloves in there, and then you really got some scent that's happening in your space. Or you can buy oils too. Right. You can put in the bottom of that, or just have the cinnamon sticks. And if you want the scent to move out a little bit more, get them wet in the bottom, and then that will actually move the scent out of them too. So there you go. Christmas or Thanksgiving, fallish kind of things. Easily done with this basket. This also works for putting tea in on your counter. I don't know, I keep saying the tea thing because I think it's pretty common. Either we have them in the cupboard kind of stuffed away, and then we forget to take them out and drink them because they're stuffed in the cupboard, or we try to put, or we or we have them on the counter and then they're kind of a mess that we kind of have them all chucked all over the place. So baskets are, to me, are just the cat's meow for doing those kinds of things. Let's get this out of here now. So that's I love these baskets for that very particular reason. And this one again is built beautifully. Laurie's got this level, so you can flip this upside down and you can have pretty things underneath there, so you could put that on your table if you wanted something, because this one is a little bit smaller.
It's smaller on the bottom?
On the bottom, and then wider here, so you get just a little bit of a different kind of a look. So if you wanted to have a little bit more of a floral type thing underneath there, or forget arranging.
Just throw it under there.
Just take a bunch of them and throw it underneath there and throw it on the floor. And you would do it a little bit neater than that. But you can just stuff that full of, these autumn leaves. You could do that. And the other thing you could put underneath there, again, is like those large pine cones that easily fit underneath this basket. And then you still have the top that you can put things on your table. Have that
excellent idea
on top of that. So, and then
I thought of that.
one more thing I thought of with this basket. I love baskets. Can you tell how much I love baskets? So here's another thing that happens. Well, at my house anyways, what happens is that Christmas is coming. So it usually starts in about October for the real early birds, the people that are just like on the ball and just really into it. Morning, Sonia. From all the way down in the south there. And by the way, everybody, Sonia is an amazing decorator. She does beautiful stuff in her house. Never seen it looking kind of halfway done. It's always very nice. Yes, it's October and the early birds are out there and they're getting after it and they're sending out Christmas cards. And they start to collect. Now, if you're like me, you will take the Christmas cards. That's usually a picture. Sometimes they're not, but there's usually a picture attached to it. Some people put a letter in it. Either one, if you get just the cards or if you get ones with pictures. And I forgot my little clip on here, but you can attach the large clips. Is that a bull? I think they call them bull clips.
Bull clips?
Bull.
Oh, okay. Like the one from Staples?
Yeah, for paper, putting a whole bunch of papers. I'm pretty sure they're called bull clips. Anyways, you can attach the bull clips to this, and then you can clip all the pictures that you get.
Okay, on the outside?
You can put that on the outside, and with the bull clip, you could put a couple of pictures easily. So you could have pictures, the Christmas ones that you get, all the way around the outside edge. And if you didn't want to hang cards on a string across your room or whatever, if you don't have some place to put them, you can put all of the cards inside of this basket.
That's a good idea.
So you've turned it into now something that's more of an arrangement instead of cramming everything onto your fridge, which I do, and I don't mind having something like that, but I don't put cards on my fridge. So this would be a way to display those things and still keep things contained and looking neat and fresh and a little bit creative, is by putting the bull clips on here, and then you can clip your pictures all the way around the outside edge of that. So for those of you who have devotions in the morning or at any other time of day, this also would be great to put your Bible in and your notebook. And if you're going through a devotional or a book, you could put that in there. A pen and a journal would fit easily inside of there. And then with the bull clips, what you can do is attach to the outside of this basket is the names of all the people that you are praying for. You could have them attached to the outside of the basket. So this would be a personal thing that you would carry with you to whatever spot you have that you would go to have your devotions, and you could do something like that. You could also use it if you're a writer and I'm not sure whatever you would be writing. Maybe you're working on a novel. I don't know. Maybe there's some novelists out there. But you could put your journal or your book, whatever, however, your paper, I don't know how you're going to be doing your writing. Maybe you're doing it in a laptop and you have that too. But sometimes you need to have a place where you have visuals that will give you ideas of things or statements that people will make, or maybe a setting or that sort of thing. So you could clip all your notes around the outside edge of it and have that with you, with a box of Kleenex and some candies, whatever things that will help you. Maybe you'll have flowers in it too, whatever will add to that creativity for you for your writing. So this basket would work splendidly for that. You could keep it beside your bedside table. You can keep your journal in there. You could keep your Kleenex in there, a candle in there, your hand lotion. And then when you need to clean, and I'm saying this from experience, and Audrey knows about this because she doesn't like it. She doesn't like stuff sitting all over the place because cleaning it is an absolute pain in the butt to have to do that. So if you have everything collected into a basket like this, sitting at your nightstand, you just pick up the basket, move it to the side, do your little cleaning, dusting thing or whatever, and put this back. And then every once in a while, you can take the things out of this and then just run the vacuum cleaner over top.
Right. Yeah.
I would easily clean that. So make use of something really pretty like this. Yeah. And if you wanted to add color to it, you can buy ribbon. I would use the wide ribbon, and I would use the wired stuff. And then I would just weave that around these benders through here. And then you will have something that's connected to the colors that you've got in your space, wherever it might be. I don't know that I would do with kitchen stuff, mostly because if you get food stuff on there, then you're going to have to try and take it out, wash it, and do all the things. Although if you're one of those people like to change your colors all the time, then you could just do that. Then you can just change it. So, but definitely in your bathroom or your bedroom to keep all those things collected so that they're not going all over the place. The other thing that I thought would be really cool with this, and I think it would be perfectly, like the perfect size for this too, is that lots of times in your bathroom, you might have a cupboard or something that you keep all your extra toilet paper in, all the toilet rolls, and then again you might not. So you could easily put this on your toilet tank on the back, and then you could put your toilet paper rolls in the back here, so you've got some extras, or you could put 2, and you could have your Kleenex box in there, and then again it's contained, it's sitting there, it looks neat, it looks decorative, and you can have that sitting in your bathroom too. So
good idea.
How's that for ideas for that?
That's awesome.
Okay.
You thought of way more things than I did.
Now you know why we have stuff all over the place here, is because I pulled out all kinds of things. So that was
now what
size of basket? We did all sizes of baskets now?
I think so. Well, this little guy is the same, but or it's just a little smaller.
So this one is smaller yet. If you need one that's even smaller, then there's this one here. And it's got shorter benders on the side of it. I don't know if you can see that there's shorter benders on the side of it. And again, you could put a collection of all kinds of things. This one would easily fit. You could still do a lineup of your olive oils in there with your...
Yeah, if you didn't have a lot of room on your cupboard.
Yeah. If you have a minimum amount of space in there, then you can easily stand this up. And I mean, I could put a couple more bottles of olive oil in there easily. Easily do that. Or if you need to, put your tea somewhere, then you can still put your tea in there. That'll fit in there quite easily too, and you can have a whole bunch of them in there. All kinds of different sizes and shapes, and yeah, this box,
that one still fits in there.
and this box fits perfectly across this. Or you could turn it on the side if you want to reach them that way or whatever. But yeah, boxes of tea fit in this lovely little basket, which is
$30.
$30. There you go. Okay. And again, this even this one is small enough, or big enough, I mean. Well, it's small enough to fit in a guest room if you just have a limited amount of space. And again, you can easily put in some nice things for your guests in your room. You can put in, no, I can't, a different candy jar than this one, because this one's a little bit too big. But
your vase would fit in there. Your little one.
oh, there we go. Oh yes, the little vase. See, this will fit in there. Look how cute this is. Yeah, you could put a little vase of flowers in there and make the room lovely for your guests when they come to visit. And oh my goodness, these peonies are just unbelievably fantastic. Okay, so moving aside my mess, and we'll move this basket out of the way. Next.
Do you want this?
Sure.
This was meant to be a storage container, or possibly to hold extra towels in your bathroom.
There you go. So look at that. I have towels too. So your towels fit beautifully in here. So you can keep that in your bathroom if you haven't got a laundry or a linen closet in your bathroom. You can easily put at least 4 towels will fit inside of this. Multicolored ones. I just pulled out rust ones to put them, rust colored ones to put in there. And yeah, so it's great for that. You could also in this.
It could be a magazine rack if you put the magazines up straight.
Yeah. You can definitely put magazines in here. They'll definitely fit inside of this container. For those of you who are hand crafters, you could put your knitting and crocheting in it. Now I know, and I can hear you now saying you can't put knitting and crocheting stuff in there because the yarn will get all caught on the willow and everything. Well, that's because you don't directly put that in there. What you do is you take a pretty pillowcase that you make, and I'm just saying pillowcase because you probably can easily make one of those, and it would fit in here easily. But you take the pillowcase and you put it inside of here, and then you, and that's why you make a pretty one, so that you can have the top edge of it turned down and still have the crinkles, whatever. And you would set that over the edge like that, turn it over the edge, and that way your yarn can sit inside of it and not get all on the willow and everything that's in here. And then you can stand your needles up in there too, or you can make a little handy dandy pocket thing, and you could attach it to the outside, so it's got like a little case that's open in the top, and then you can stand your crocheting needles or your knitting needles in that, so that they don't get lost in all the yarn if you have any extra ones that are in there. Or maybe you have little counters, stitch counters, or those sorts of things, and you could have those. You could have your needles tucked inside, or you can have them hanging on in a little bag on the outside of this. So you easily could do that. So that pillowcase also could hold any variety of different things, whatever you want it to sort of contain in the inside of it. You could use it for a small toy basket in your living room. If you just wanted to have a few toys in there, your kids' toys stay more in their room. But if you wanted to have a few extra ones sitting in your living room, you can easily put them inside of this. And
you might want to put something in the bottom, so that if you had little cars, they wouldn't fall out.
Yeah. Anything that's smaller, you would have a little bit. They put a base in the bottom of it. The other thing that you could do with this is you could you can have a garbage can.
Right.
So you can actually put the garbage can inside of this. You can get round ones, would fit quite easily in here. And then you can have this as a nice garbage container. So the garbage container actually sits inside, so that you can keep that clean and that sort of thing. But you can have it a nice piece of wool. That's fabulous for that. And I'm sure I could think of about 25 other things to use in here, but we'll move it along. And how much is that one?
That one's 45.
And that one's 45. That's a steal of a deal, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you might wonder about some of the prices. It just depends on how much work there is. Like each of these benders, lots of times you break them or whatever, or you bend them and they don't. You replacing them, and there's a lot of just the ends and stuff. Yeah. This is an older one too, and I don't know if it doesn't have as many benders, so it's a little bit faster.
Okay. Okay, coming along. So I asked Laurie if she'd ever done anything like a tray, and she said that she hadn't. So her crazy friend Roxanne says, "Hey, you should make something if you have a tray." So this is a great tray, and the thing that I love about this is that it's like crazy sturdy to carry things on. So you could carry a coffee pot on here. You have a teapot on here. You can have a ton of cups in here. So if you were carrying it out to space and you needed to have, say, 6 or 8 cups, you can have them all in there. Plus you can have your sugar and your spoons in there to haul out. Now, we're going to be careful with that now because of COVID. So we're going to try not to do all the hand touching and everything, but you have that opportunity. You could also use this to carry all of your utensils and barbecue sauce and that sort of thing out to your barbecue because it's super sturdy. Laurie's done this one with barnwood, and then you can just put a towel in the bottom of that, like a tea towel, and that would catch any dirty stuff that was in there, and then easily just pull the towel out, throw it in the wash, and you're good to go for that like whole entire thing. And then if you wanted to have it prettier because you were doing it for a tea or a coffee thing and you wanted to have it sitting out, just add some flowers to it. It'll look very nice. Put that in there. So of course trays are multi-purpose, and if you want to use it for just a decor thing, then you could add some take out the mugs and such, but put on an antler, a shed. I'm not sure if this was the actual shed or if it was from one that was eaten. I have no idea. Doesn't really matter because it's for decor purposes. And then you can add some pine cones to it, and you could put a couple candles in there. You can lift them up if you wanted So if you have a nice big table and you need a big centerpiece, this is a great way to do that. The other thing that you could do with it, because it's so sturdy, and that's the thing that I love about this stuff, is that you could easily put a line of books across here. You could have this on the middle of your coffee table, and all your books would easily stand up there. Instead of having bookends, you can just do books across there. And there's enough here that, I mean, you could put a lot of books across in this basket and have that in your space for whatever you need it for. So whether you want something that's more rustic or whether you want something that's more refined, you can just switch it up to however you like. And again, because of these benders on here, if you wanted to do something that was more conducive for, if you're going to use this for decorative purposes, then you could put ribbon, or you can wind raffia through there. What would be really cool if you had access to it, if you had some hides done. Morning, Sasha. You could actually wind strips of leather in around through that. Would look super awesome. And then put your antler in it. Yeah. So if you want something that's, it's a little bit more rustic looking and natural because of all the natural materials, and you just wind some leather through that. It would just look really awesome. Or some rope. You could put some sisal rope, would be really cool. Yeah. Wound through that also. And if you were a fisherman kind of a person, you could have some net, and you could just rope your net into a rope, wind that in through that, and then take the barbs off of your hooks. Take those barbs off those hooks, and then attach them to a couple of corners, so you can have some hooks hanging on there too, for a house that's, you want to make sure that it's more inclusive to those really masculine guys that are into fishing and all those sorts of things. Then you can add that to that. Or maybe you're a girl that really loves those kinds of things. So just make it fit the space that you're going to have it in. And this basket is, or tray,
65.
And this one is 65. Awesome. Okay, move that off. Okay. And we're just about done, I think.
Just that little chair.
Yep, and there's a basket back here too.
Oh, right.
So this is a piece, I'm going to sneak this one in here because it's close to me. Oh. This is a piece that Laurie does classes, and she did a little chair class, and I missed it because I was sick.
You had a really bad headache.
It was not really good. I suffer from headaches from weather change. So Laurie was so kind and lovely. She made this one, and then she gave it to me. So I have this sitting in my front entrance, and I have it underneath my table, my front entrance table, and I switch the decor up on here. So if it's fall, then I have some autumn floral leaves or whatever that sit on this, and I have a pumpkin that is in there, and I have bears that I can set on there too. Christmas, and then switch it up for Christmas, so that sort of thing. It's really, really super cute. If you had an antique doll, you could easily put that on here. And the other thing that it works really well on it is you could put books. You could put books on it. So if you wanted to display some books, you should just pop those on there. Pop those books on that space, and I just shoved that in there. So yeah, you can put some books on it. So it's a cute little decor thing.
Some people put plants on them too.
And you can put plants on it. Yeah. So, and that was my thought, was I'd bring it out for the summertime, but time got away on me and I didn't do that. So I didn't put any plants on. But these chairs are really super cute. And you have them for sale?
I don't have, well, I think I might have
You want to take a class.
$35.
So $35. But yeah, if you want to take a class, this is a really cool thing to be able to make. And then you can say that you've made a Willow chair. You probably don't want to sit on it, but you will have made a Willow chair.
Well, actually, I've made little ones like that, and Cassandra Mostad has babies actually sitting on them. Wow.
There you go. If you are a photographer of children, you could perch a baby in there and take a picture. How do you like that? Something to aspire to. And our last piece this morning is one of my favorites. It's beautiful. Look at this basket. Is this not the coolest thing you've ever seen? Those benders are stunning. So this, again, would be, be beautiful in your guest room. You could put this in the middle of your table, and you could put a flower arrangement inside of it. If you got a bouquet from Kate's Clippings, comes in a jar, a mason jar, it would be stunning inside of this. Like, absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Now mine is, don't judge Kate's things by mine. But I'll just park mine in there. You can put some flowers in the center of it. Again, you could put this in your guest room and have guest room things inside of it. What would be so cool is if you were giving someone a gift. I would use this as a gift basket.
Okay.
For someone. And then you can make an assortment of all kinds of things in it. And it's better than the gift bag, because the gift bag, after a while, they just wear out and whatever. But you could have it as a traveling gift basket. So you could tell the person that you gave it to that you were giving them the gift in there, and they are welcome to enjoy it in their home for however long. And then when they need to do a gift for somebody, then they could take that basket and they could fill it with things, and they could pass it on to a friend, someone that they love. And it would go with the same kinds of instructions to them, would be to enjoy it in their home for a little while and then pass it on to the next person that you were going to do a gift for. Morning, Danielle. And yeah, just have this as a traveling basket, because why not share the beauty of this, right? If you don't want to just have things sitting in your home and you want to change things up, you could have this beautiful, beautiful basket. This is absolutely gorgeous. This would be really cool to get as a gift.
Yeah.
Totally. And if you didn't want to, you didn't have to put stuff in it either. You could just say, it's just going to be the way it is. It's beautiful, just like that. And put nothing in it and just say, here is a lovely gift of a basket for you, locally made.
Yeah.
And this one is?
That one's $65.
And this one's $65. And it would be well worth it. These benders and everything are just absolutely gorgeous on there. So there you go. All the things that you can do with baskets and containers from Laurie. So check out her webpage. Check out her Facebook page. Ask any questions that you like. There are regularly from between Laurie's house and my house. There are people that are traveling to High Prairie, to Grand Prairie. Audrey will be passing through to Edmonton. I think, Laurie, you're going to Edmonton?
I was. I might not be now, but...
Okay. So there's enough people traveling through that if there's pieces that you would like of Laurie's and need to get it trucked somewhere, have a chat with Laurie, and between the two of us or whatever, we'll figure something out, and we will make sure that you get the things that you would like to have for your home. So most of us, I think of Willow as when we have furniture. So we have chairs. You're sitting on one. I'm sitting on a love seat here, and planters. So we have planters that we put our summer flowers in, and that's mostly what I have on my deck. But I also have pieces inside my house, and I've given them as gifts. I have little heart-shaped tables. There's one sitting in the back corner. I don't know if you can see it back here. This one's got, this one has started looking a little bit tough inside because I wasn't very good to it and I didn't oil it and do all the good things. So I moved it onto my deck and it's fantastic. Makes a cute little side table. And finally, I don't know how many of you joined me for the last time Laurie was with me, but we did a heart-shaped, a heart wreath for the wall. And you probably can see it right behind me here on the wall. I've hung it up, and that's what we made. And this is now 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think we're 2 weeks.
It's still green.
It's 2 weeks, and it's still green. The leaves have not fallen off of it. So when Laurie said that the leaves would stay on, this is birch. She's absolutely right. The leaves are still on it. It still looks fantastic, and I think it's going to stay like that for probably quite a while.
Well, I have one at home, and the leaves are still on it. Like I made it probably a couple years ago, but they're the autumn color, like the orangey brown. Yeah. Okay,
so they eventually will turn more brown colored, obviously. But yeah, this one here has been 2 weeks, and the leaves are still green. So it's not fresh. It's not fresh and shiny with that brighter green, but it's still definitely green. So if you were doing it for a wedding or something like that, you could definitely make them up a week in advance, and it still would look fantastic. You wouldn't want to be manhandling them, I don't think, because as they dry, then they'll get, a little bit tougher to keep those leaves on there. But so that was for Lois. I think Lois, you'd asked me about that, about doing it for a special event like that. But yeah, these would be really cool, and they just cost you some labor and some wire to to be able to put them together. So you can go back onto my Facebook page and you can go back to that one session we did the little, and I think I labeled it as making a willow wreath or something on my Facebook page. So if you look at the if you look at the videos, then you'll see that. And if not, I think in the start of the video you'll see us with massive trees and trying in the middle of here and trying not to whack each other with that as we were doing that. So check out Laurie's page. Tomorrow I'm having a few friends come over, and we're going to we'll do it inside my gazebo, just because I have the space there. But other than that, we would be doing it on the lawn if it wasn't so wet. And we're going to be making some wreaths with a mason jar attached to it, so you can put your own flowers in it and then have it on the wall without having to put a vase on the table. And I kind of asked Laurie about doing that simply because, well, I think it's fun to do for a class, do with friends. But the other thing is that for anybody that's local that can get a hold of Kate's clippings, so her beautiful bouquets that she puts together, you could easily get one of those bouquets and you could put that in there, and then you could have that hanging on your wall. So check out Facebook page tomorrow. After we get them all done, I will take picture and I will post it so you can see that. Good. And then you can contact Laurie, and you could have a couple of friends over, 3, 4, 5, 6 friends. Talk to Laurie about it. Don't take my word for it. And you could have a class at your place within reason. I mean, she's not going to travel to Alaska or anything. Unless you offer to pay for her flight and everything.
Yeah, sure.
But then you could have a class at your place you could do the big heart wreath that's behind my head here on the wall, or you could do the regular wreath with the mason jar attached to it, so you can put your flowers in it. And it doesn't have to be fresh flowers. You could put dried ones in there too, whichever you like. And at Christmas time, you could put the little battery-operated lights in the bottom of it. And then you could put some Christmassy-looking things inside of it for a Christmas or winter kind of a thing. So
yeah, just send me all your pictures of what you do with things.
And definitely post pictures if you get any of these baskets and do whatever you're doing with it in your house. Definitely send me pictures. Send Laurie pictures. She loves to see what you do with things that you pick up from her. So check out her stuff. Thanks for joining us here this morning on my deck for the Willow with Laurie. Thanks, Laurie, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
For making all these beautiful things and making it just a really fun morning. And I'm really glad that it's not pouring rain. And only one mosquito tried to get me, so I think we're doing
and it's so calm out. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is beautifully calm out. So it's an absolutely gorgeous day. So hope you're all taking care of yourselves and of each other. You're being kind and understanding, and hope that you have much peace in your life and joy throughout this day. And as we head into the weekend, I'm excited because I'm going to have my son come and visit. He's going to be coming a little bit later today, so I'm excited about that. Not just because I'm going to get some jobs done around here that I need some muscle for, but it'll be fun to just have some visiting time with him. So thanks again for joining me. And again, if you have any questions, post them there in the comment section, and either Laurie or I will get back to you with whatever information that we need to. And check out her Facebook page or her website. See if my technology works.